flex. Consumption has been rebranded as cute and organized, but guys, restocking is not a flex. The ability to buy super specific, perfectly labeled containers to hold all of your items that came in a perfectly good container is not something to be proud of. And here's why. This kind of thinking ties your self-worth to your ability to consume both a bunch of plastic crap that will end up in a landfill sooner rather than later, and a bunch of heavily scented, heavily flavored toxic chemicals. I won't deny that these videos are temporarily satisfying, but the idea that decanting your plastic container of fabric softener into a giant glass countertop container will somehow improve your overall quality of life is mistaken. Solid relationships, financial security, your health, and memorable experiences are the formula for a life well lived. Don't be duped into buying all of this landfill-bound crap by all of these hauls and restock videos that are just a disguise for Amazon commercials. Stop solving problems that don't exist.
I've been making a lot of videos on the whole China tariff thing and how I personally would not cry if America cuts ties with China or America lessens the entanglement we have with China. I would not cry if we cut down on consumerism, on overconsumption. I wouldn't cry on those. But those are unrealistic wants or desires. What's realistic is, yes, America needs to buy. We are addicted to consuming. We have built our economy on consuming. So this is the thing where I've said this already, that I would not be surprised that by the end of this year, we go back to how it was before. Right? I would not be surprised in months things would change. We would go back to how it was with China. We will buy more, consume more. I wouldn't be surprised. Because I do understand our economy, our culture, our mindset is we are built on consuming. I just look at it this way, is that I wish that we can stop it, can cut it down, because we are over consuming. We buy so much, we buy or import so much food or produce so much food that we throw it away if it's excess. We make and buy so much crap that we honestly would throw away after a little bit of use. Cups, sippy cups, which please check out my other videos. A sippy cup for a kid. That what? For a baby. They use 1-2 years, thrown away. More makeup for our heavy makeup industry that women seem to want and need to wear. More clothes than we really need to have. We have so much. And just a whole bunch of other useless throwaway shit. Because we're not passing down these things to the next generation for generations to come. So these things just end up in our landfills. These things just pollute our world. Again, I'm being, idealistic. I get it. If we don't buy, it probably will cripple our economy. But it's like, I'm at the same time as that. How our economy has, and again, we done stupid shit to put us into these stupid positions. I get it. If we don't buy, inflation comes up, or our debt, all we will hurt. It's just that, and like I said, it's not going to happen. I kind of want to see, and I'm not being like malicious, I kind of want to see America that is not dependent on the rest of the world to survive. I don't know why we can't bring back or create manufacturing jobs again. Because again, people say, oh, no one wants to work these manufacturing jobs. We have people working in malls, people working in fast food joints, people working in Target, Walmart, Dollar Tree. So really, you really believe we don't have a workforce for these manufacturing jobs if they pay decent? Because we have people literally, getting shitty paid to do shitty jobs. It's just that blindly, us Americans are fine with other countries paying their workers even less so we can get their cheaper products. So we can let these companies take advantage of cheaper labor so they can have higher margins, better profits. But like I said, I'm being idealistic. For the last 50, 60 years or so, wherever since our manufacturing jobs have pretty much died, have we become better? Have our nation become better? I find that we have more to complain about. I find it that, we are buying more than we are producing. I find that we have higher debt than ever. I find that people are more unhappy than ever. I don't think buying is feeling our unhappiness, our emptiness. I don't know. I just don't see America becoming better since, destroying manufacturing job, over consuming, being dependent, our economy being dependent on buying shit from other countries. Other countries are not buying shit from us. Okay? Other countries are not, really desiring our imports. Not like that. Again, we buy more than we consume. We buy more than we import. I don't know. But like I said, I'm passionate about it, but I'm not deluded by it. I'm not deluded by it. We are addicted to buying. Our economy it's so intertwined with consuming. And I believe that our economy doesn't want to take the risk and, make huge changes. Because again, the American public don't want to suffer the in-between to see if we can change, if we can fix shit. We don't want to do it. We complain, living paycheck to paycheck, the high prices of shit, but we won't make any big drastic changes because we are scared of being, going through difficult times in the meantime to see if things will change.
Trash. This is your sign to get rid of all of your Stanleys because the new...
Can we stop? Can we stop? What if we actually used our recyclable water bottles, what they're for, to be reused, and stopped making a new trending water bottle every 6 months? It's so annoying and it is so bad for the environment. Our planet cannot handle this level of overconsumption, and it's influencers and businesses like this that just make it so much worse. Just use what you have. Oh my God, it's not that hard.
Is anybody else really frustrated with overconsumption core on TikTok? I've actually really been encouraged by some of the underconsumption videos I've seen lately. Look at my reshares, I've shared a number of them. Folks actually ask a lot why I'm using a broken mug in all my videos, because I film in the morning when I'm drinking my coffee, and this is my coffee mug. It still holds coffee really well, just because it has a broken handle. That doesn't mean I need to stop using it or go buy another mug. It's been 9 years since I dropped it in the sink, and in 9 years I have not needed to go buy more mugs.
Yesterday, I thought I was going to have to pay $24,000 extra because of the tariffs that Donald Trump announced. I'm launching a Korean beauty brand, and my inventory is shipping from Korea right now. When I saw this small business, I make my product in China because I have to, because there aren't manufacturers that will make my product here in the United States. I've been searching for years, asked a company, they wrote an article featuring me, BBC, and then I spoke with someone from the New York Times today. One thing I want to highlight is that people think that just because I manufacture my products in China, somehow China gets all my money, but more than half of the money that my company makes stays here in the United States. I employ people. And that was also something that the journalist from the New York Times asked me, what's going to happen to them? And I said, well, it's a wait and see. I'm in purgatory right now, I'm waiting.
So we can't manufacture water bottles? And yeah, great that, it's nice that she employs people, but do we need more water bottles? That's her business, water bottles. We have enough. We have more than enough.
My most used and most repurchased is Glamnetic. They're press-on nails, so...
I'm Anne, the founder of Glamnetic, and it's crazy to think that 5 years ago I started Glamnetic out of my one-bedroom apartment in Koreatown, and so far we've sold over 2 million units worldwide of our press-on nails. Most brands are not going to survive this tariff war. 104% tariff has been placed on Chinese imported goods, and you know who that affects the most? Small businesses, small U.S. businesses. And even for a business like ours that is very stable and profitable, we are now going to be going in the red.
So, but it was something like it was a really hard decision
What's
to
the
make.
important thing that she sells?
But it was one that I just had to make. When tariffs went over 100% on Chinese-made goods into the US yesterday, I was like, well, literally we can't make any money. So we make our product in China. So it's full of us swimwear. It's like basically like a bra. It's got underwear, power mesh. We do 66 bra sizes. It's like really, really technical and really good quality. And I have not been able to find anyone else that has the expertise to make it to this standard, let alone make it, to be honest. Like no one wants to do underwear swimwear. Like it's way too complicated.
Right now, these tariffs are fucking wild. Our clothing is currently on its way to us from China. It's the best place to manufacture clothing. That's just how it is, that in Vietnam. But we pre-launch in a week, and we'll have our clothing in another 3 weeks. And now there is an extra 104% markup on this clothing.
Hey, I'm Serena, and I own a small business, micro business, because I'm just one person, related around bookish things. And I think Trump's huge stance on Chinese tariffs is probably going to kill my business, and here's why. Before I tell you the reasons, for algorithm's sake, I have to show you the things that I'm selling. So I sell this Save the Book to Be on the Fascist Enamel pen, this cute little slow burn bromance matchbook pen, this Skelly book.
I'm not drop shipping. These tariffs will help small businesses. No, they won't. I am a small business owner. I make my own products. I'm not drop shipping from Alibaba.
What does she make?
I make candles using American beeswax harvested by another small business. Then I melt that beeswax down and mold it into the beautiful candles that you know and love. My business would not be possible without the manufacturing and labor of China and many other countries. It doesn't matter that my final product is made here because every single step of the supply chain relies on international commerce and trade. You like my candles? Guess what? They're made in wax melters that are not made in America because America does not have the infrastructure to make them. And even if we suddenly snap our fingers and there was a factory and employees to make these items, we wouldn't have the raw materials needed because the raw materials aren't found in Nebraska or Missouri. They don't exist here. That's why we rely on international trade.
I don't think that any of the whole Trump tariff stuff is really gonna
I think they're going to be gone in a couple months because America has a shopping problem. We love to buy cheap shit. We love to use people's cheap labor, their slave labor. iPhones, clothes. This is the thing. All these small businesses, I'm not going to cry if a makeup company or makeup business disappears. I ain't going to cry if a water bottle company disappears or a water bottle business disappears. I'm not gonna cry if more clothes businesses, bras, swimwear, athletic wear. I ain't gonna cry if a small business that makes, enamel pins disappear. I ain't gonna cry if a candle business disappear. I'm sorry. We have enough of those shit. We have more than enough of those shit. We don't need any more of those shit. I mean, for the business that employs people, I'm sad about that, but at the end of the day, you are just adding to our shopping problem. Selling water bottles, more clothes, all the shit goes to our landfills. That's it. All those shit goes to our landfills. All that shit, just get tucked away. Do nowhere. This is the thing, right? I have perfectly fine sandals. They're old. I mean, they're old, but they're kind of a bit dirty. But whatever, perfectly fine. They're not like, deteriorating. And then all of a sudden yesterday, my aunt gave me a pair of sandals. And I'm like, here. Then today, this morning, my mom gave me another pair of sandals. I'm like, seriously? I get it. These things are like $10, maybe $20, but this is a problem. We don't find a problem in just shopping. We don't find the problem in just buying shit. I understand that it may hurt America. I mean, like I said, this is not going to happen. The tariff things, in a couple months, maybe a year, we'll go back to how it was because America's too addicted to buy cheap shit. But I said this countless times before, I'm not going to cry if we actually detangle ourselves away from China, buying their cheap shit, using their cheap slave labor. It's like a fake Birkin bag was made for $2. Guess how much you think the person was paid? Maybe, 1 cent? 2 cents? I'm not going to cry that these Americans can't abuse slave labor, can't take advantage of slave labor, cheap labor. I'm not going to cry that these Americans want to manufacture their shit in another country so they can bring their cheap shit over here, flood our markets with more cheap shit so they can so they can charge American people to be shopping addicts. I ain't gonna cry.
Overconsumption is really getting out of hand now. Apparently there's a trend called Pan 2025. Took me a while to realize what this was, but it's where people are deciding to actually use up and finish the products they've purchased before buying another product. I was of the impression that that is what we were already doing. Like, there is no reason for anyone to have 12 different shower gels. Please, if you are buying skincare, give it at least 2 months before deciding that that product is not for you. If you have a bad reaction to a product, just give it away or give it to a friend. There's no need to keep it in your cupboards. And if I ever recommend a product to you, make sure you are finishing what you already have before you go out and purchase another recommendation. I really do not want to be contributing to the overconsumption problem that is going on these days. And remember, you don't need 20, 30, 40 products to get clear skin. In fact,
Our clothing is currently on its way to us from China. It's the best place to manufacture clothing.
To me, this is about morality, not politics. Why is China the best place to make clothing? Now, do I think that you can get good quality stuff from China? Absolutely. It seems like she's starting a new brand. She's talking about a pre-launch and all this kind of stuff. Why do you think she's using China as her manufacturer and not, say, somewhere in the United States? Is it because they use cheap labor, essentially slave labor? Again, I'm not here to talk about tariffs and politics. I just want you to think about this. Why would someone use a Chinese or whatever foreign country that uses cheap slave labor? Because it's cheap, and I'm all for a bargain. I'm probably wearing 8 things that are made in China. I'm also not complaining about it. But would you be okay with using an American manufacturer to make your stuff if they paid them the same wages that they pay them over in China? Or would you complain that it's unfair, it's not right to pay them 18 cents a day or whatever it is, and complain that they should get free healthcare and that they should have a livable wage? Come on, guys. This is why so many people's arguments fall apart to me.
Right now, these tariffs are fucking wild. Our clothing is currently on its way to us from China. It's the best place to manufacture clothing. That's just how it is, that in Vietnam.
Entitlement here is unreal, and I actually find it funny that you're mad about this, but I'll explain that a little bit later. Let's continue.
We launch in a week, and we'll have our clothing in another 3 weeks. And now there is an extra 104% markup on this clothing.
You went with a company like All American Clothing here in the United States, you probably would have paid the same price, but you could ensure that there was no child labor involved.
We've spent an ungodly amount, I don't even want to say the number, on this, and now we have to pay over double that number.
See what she's not telling you? And I understand business is business, but she probably pays about $3 to $5 for a sports bra, maybe $3 to $7, and then she turns around and she marks it up to $60.
We were given zero time to plan for this or budget for this. We had all these plans of where we wanted our budget to go to.
So she's still going to make money. Her profit margin is just going to be a little bit smaller.
Now this all has to go to tariffs. I just don't even understand how this is legal.
Child labor isn't legal, but you clearly support that by buying from overseas. A lot of these Chinese companies, they work their employees or child laborers 75 to 100 hours a week.
This kills small businesses. Like, most small businesses are not going to survive this.
I wonder how many employees or child laborers don't survive their working conditions overseas.
Thankfully, Cooldown is in a position to survive this, but...
So again, she's going to be just fine. They're just going to have a smaller profit margin.
It's crazy how many businesses that this is going to kill.
Is it really though? Maybe you should just start buying from American-made companies so you don't have to pay these high tariffs. And this is exactly what happens when you choose to get from companies overseas where you have no idea what their practices are. Most of them are probably unethical, unfortunately. And frankly, I think you deserve to pay the tariffs. Maybe you should start buying from American-made companies where you can ensure that they use ethical practices.
Packaging, contained apparel, and accessories. Which goods did China export to the USA last year? In 10th place, non-knit apparel and accessories with $18 billion. Coats, trousers, and formal outfits made in China. In 9th place, iron and steel products, reaching $21 billion. We're talking tools, structures, and hardware. In 8th place, vehicles and auto parts, pulling in $25 billion. Mostly electric cars and spare parts heading to the US. In 7th place, miscellaneous goods, valued at $27 billion. A mix of unclassified products that still make serious money. In 6th place, knitwear and crochet clothing, with $30 billion. T-shirts, socks, and stretchy fashion, all made in China. In 5th place, plastic materials and products worth $33 billion. Packaging, containers, and plastic tools everywhere. In 4th place, toys, games, and sports items, bringing in $40 billion. From toy cars to game controllers, it's all there. In 3rd place, furniture, lighting, and prefab structures, hitting $41 billion. Your living room probably has some of it. In 2nd place, machinery, including computers, totaling $98 billion. Think laptops, printers, and everything tech. And in 1st place, electrical machinery and equipment, leading with $136 billion. Phones, chargers, batteries. Which goods did...
What is Trump's master plan? To understand what he's doing, we need to go back to 1944, when the US was emerging as the leader of the free world. The US created a new monetary system called Bretton Woods, where countries could join upon 3 main conditions. You need to peg your currency to the gold-backed US dollar, you needed to accept US military protection, and generally, you needed to agree to not trade with communist regimes. What would you get if you joined? Well, access to the huge US consumer markets. The Marshall Plan would rebuild your war-torn economy, and you could tariff America to protect your own industries. And what did America get? Well, world peace, new allies who defend against communism, the creation of new markets where US goods could be exported to, making the US richer as well. And it also made the US dollar the reserve global currency, allowing the US to borrow money at incredibly low interest rates. However, as time went on, America's allies, notably France, saw this system as deeply unfair, seeing themselves subsidizing lavish American living standards and multinationals, and with their recovering strength, they started asking America to exchange their USD for gold. This was not good for America, and Nixon put an end to the gold-backed USD in 1971, leading to the collapse of this economic order and 10 long years of economic hardship. And now at the 1980s, we saw Reagan and Thatcher introduce the neoliberal world order, characterized by low tariffs, flexible exchange rates, and the US guaranteeing security to all those who joined. With a peg dollar gone and access to the US consumer market as carrot, many more nations would join this time around, which pushed the USD even higher, making America richer than it had ever been before, but at the expense of manufacturing jobs. And this was compounded when China joined the WTO in 2001. And now in 2025, America's manufacturing capacity is far smaller than China's. So what can it do? Well, here comes what many describe as the Mar-a-Lago Accord, devised by Trump's top 2 economic advisors. They hope to restore much of the Bretton Woods world order. How are they going to do this? Well, this time they're going to use the stick. For example, by using tariffs to create economic chaos, which along with the threat of pulling back military aid will be used as leverage to convince other countries to sign new currency agreements, perhaps pegging their currencies to the dollar, once again weakening the US dollar, making US exports more competitive. Will this work? I'll remain impartial, but I will say it's a very high-risk strategy with an uncertain outcome, but with guaranteed short to medium-term economic hardship for all. It certainly went.
Here, I think we need to talk about the overconsumption closet pipeline. We go from these celebrity closets that are way overfilled, more shoes than you could ever possibly need in a lifetime, more clothes than you could ever need in a lifetime. And just to include the boy math version here, one man having 185 cars and 160 motorcycles is extreme overconsumption. And so when celebrities model this kind of shopping behavior, this kind of hyper overconsumption, it leads to the haul culture that we see here on TikTok and normalizes hyperconsumption for normal people like you and I. Bragging about the fact that you own 185 cars or endlessly posing with tons, like how many bags are there even in just this one shot of hyper expensive luxury goods, is celebrities and this mainstream shopping culture training us to become hyper consumers. If this is what aspirational looks like, then simply owning 3 pairs of shoes is not aspirational. It's not cool. It's not hot. It's not chic. Now you as an individual who's not making $150 million a year, but is probably making 40, 50, 60 grand a year, has to go out and spend your paycheck on getting more shoes, more clothes, more cars, more whatever.